as the Pac-12 turns. And boy, did it turn today, because we've talked all about Ion TV. And you know, on this show, we've worked really hard to bring you good, credible, sourced information. We have told you for well over 6 to 8 weeks now, Ion TV had other irons in the fire. They were not going to make a deal with the Pac-12. Ion TV, of course, is owned by Scripps Sports, a brand new division of Scripps company. Now Scripps Sports has made their first big splash into the sports world. They announced today that they have signed a distribution agreement for a Friday night national package with the WNBA. Now, on its face, you're like, well, what does this have to do with Pac-12 football or basketball? It's a WNBA. Well, here's what it has to do. As George Kliavkoff and the Pac-12 have been out in the marketplace trying to get a deal that would ultimately either equal or surpass what the Big 12 has, which, by the way, is, again, $31.7 million a year per school in the Big 12, thanks to their friends at ESPN and Fox. Well, George and the Pac-12 have been out looking for a deal of that note. This takes another player off the table. Now, of course, we know that Ion TV and the Pac-12 have talked. They haven't done a deal. Maybe they're never going to do a deal. But now we know for certain that Scripps Sports and Ion TV are in the sports distribution business. This is a huge win for the WNBA. This is a Friday night national package. It is a regional package, which means if you're the Los Angeles Sparks or the Phoenix Mercury, your game is going to be on in the Southwest if you're the Phoenix Mercury. You're going to be on in California, regionally to the south in San Diego, to the north in Bakersfield and Fresno. You're going to get LA Sparks games on Ion TV.
Facts.
Now you don't have to wonder, well, what am I going to do if I'm in Los Angeles? I don't want to watch the New York Liberty. Well, you don't have to do that, because now you're going to get a Friday night doubleheader on Ion TV that brings you that near team. This is exactly the deal that the Pac-12 was looking for, Jake. And I think it is significant because it feels like this is another loss. And maybe I'm taking this too far. The reaction on Twitter today obviously was quite fired up. But do you think we're going too far here in saying, I think this is another loss for the Pac-12?
No, I mean, I don't think we're going too far with it. I think anytime you're having a conversation with someone and that conversation doesn't work out, and then they go and do a deal with someone else that is, without a doubt, remarkably similar to the deal you were discussing, I think that you have to talk about it. It does raise some questions, and I do think that it is a loss of opportunity, a loss of money and revenue, certainly. And I think what's really interesting is when you look at the part about regionality and being able to put a certain product in front of the right type of people based on where they're at geographically speaking. There's no better way to do that than in one of these deals. And I think the Pac-12, we know in the CW deal, right? The Pac-12 wanted all this money and the CW lacked some representation in certain states, so it didn't work out there. You look at this deal now with Scripps and Ion and the WNBA, and it's like, hey, they basically did the exact deal you were looking for. You just couldn't get it worked out because you were asking for too much money. And it all comes back to prioritizing linear over streaming and prioritizing linear to a point where you're asking, by some reports, like 4 or 5 times what most people think you are worth. So to me, I just look at it and I say, hey, like, it's business, and Scripps/Ion TV are not going to just sit around and do nothing. And they saw an opportunity, and I say more power to you. More power to you, because ultimately the WNBA is on the rise. No matter where you come down on the WNBA, it is on the rise. It's not more valuable than football right now, even Pac-12 football. But I do think it's on the rise. And if you can, now that they have gotten into a place where they're going to be seen in the right areas, I think that is super impactful for their product and would have been super impactful for the Pac-12.
Yeah, and I the thing that I can't wrap my head around is these conversations we've had throughout time about this Pac-12 TV deal. And let's go all the way back to almost a year ago.
Wind the clocks back.
Last July and August. If we wind the clocks back, right? The Pac-12 looked untouchable.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 looked like the juggernaut, and the Big 12 was in trouble. And then you hire Brett Yormark, and all of this changes. And the struggle, and this is, again, my opinion, the struggle has been stability and belief in George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12. We have heard repeatedly from the presidents and commissioners we've spoken to across the country. We have heard repeatedly that there's just something off. You know, we spoke to somebody at a TV network today about what their conversations have been with the Pac-12. And the word that just keeps getting thrown around is unorganized.
Facts.
Unorganized. We told you our sources at ESPN said that. We told you our sources at several other TV networks and industry sources that we speak to about this on a regular basis have said to us, the Pac-12 is unorganized. Their messaging is unorganized. They do not also, we heard this again today, that the Pac-12 does not understand what their value proposition is. For the WNBA and ION, it's pretty clear what the value proposition is. And I would tell you that that value proposition is, one, it puts Scripps Sports through ION TV in a position to empower women across the country. What does that do for ION TV? It brings more female viewership to their normal programming, right? Like WNBA and sports is not ever probably going to dominate the TV lineup on ION TV. But if it brings more female viewers to reruns of Law & Order SVU or Chicago PD or any of the shows that you see regularly on ION TV and syndication, that's a win for ION TV.
Thanks.
Oh, by the way, what's it do for the WNBA, excuse me? Regionally, it's a powerful, powerful push. They have had a very small deal on ESPN, which is not going away. That's going to be the weekend home for WNBA. It's going to be on ESPN. This Friday night doubleheader is going to be on ION TV. This is a big, big push. This is a lot more eyeballs and a lot more opportunity to market your product, to put more eyeballs on the TV. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? Isn't that exactly what the Pac-12 is looking for here? They need a partner who will buy in and push Pac-12 football, Pac-12 basketball. And unfortunately, I think Scripps Sports and ION TV are now, I would say, out of that game.
Yeah.
Because I think there's no doubt, if you've been paying attention, ION TV and Scripps Sports have really been, their attention focused on the regional Major League Baseball situation, if you will, the situation, which is Bally Sports.
Yeah.
Has been on the verge of bankruptcy. And the boss at Scripps Sports, Brian Lawler, was on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about their desire to be in position if there's a need by Major League Baseball. That's clearly been their focus. And now they slide in with this WNBA deal that takes them through the summer. If they can continue to grow their sports revenue, because that's also what this is for Scripps and ION TV. This is a way to drive new revenue through Scripps Sports to grow their business.
Yes.
Exactly. It's a money play.
Yes.
This is win-win for everybody except the Pac-12. Because now I think the Pac-12 goes back into the situation where you're going to have more than 50% of your games not on broadcast television. That's the bottom line.
And I don't know how that's acceptable. I don't know how you're thinking that you're going to
don't
survive. I don't know how you're thinking that that's just going to work out. Furthermore, I don't know how you're thinking how schools aren't going to leave if that is indeed the case at the end of the day. And I think it's really interesting, and I think it really speaks to where supporters are mentally with this whole topic. When you have a bunch of Pac-12 people, and I'm not just saying Utah people, or I would say across the board, folks in the Pac-12 want to deny that this isn't a really important happening, and I understand it. I get it. You don't think that a potential partner basically axing their ability to do a deal with you by doing a deal with the NBA, and in fact doing the deal that you wanted to do with them, but doing it with the WNBA. I don't know how you say that doesn't matter, or somehow that this isn't applicable or relatable or like relevant. Like, I don't know how you just skip over that. And I think what's really interesting is this kind of further hammers home this concept of George Kliavkoff and his team, because I don't think it's just him and his team just come off and give a taste of being disorganized and not all together.
Exactly right.
And furthermore, we're hearing today, dude, we're hearing today that they don't know, they don't really have a value proposition, that they don't know, they don't have a real good way of explaining how it is that they came to a valuation of $400 million a year for their product.
Other than to say, well, we think we're worth more than the Big 12. That's not a value proposition.
No.
And I will also say this takes you back to SMU, San Diego State, Fresno State, UNLV, the battle for Gonzaga. Like, it takes you back through all of these conversations we've been having.
Gonzaga.
And if you think about it this way, Gonzaga, I think, is a real tipping point. Because, again, rewind the clock and let's talk about that money that's going to come through basketball, through college basketball. That's huge now. And the way that the Big 12 has built that, and we talked about, if you didn't see the show yesterday, it's right here on the Monty Show YouTube channel. Go back and check it out. We talked about how the way that the Pac-12 can save itself is to copy the revenue model of the Big 12. Make basketball a big event. Oh, you don't have a team in Los Angeles, or a school in Los Angeles? Who cares? Make Los Angeles the mecca for your Pac-12 college basketball tournament. And I think by default, you have to try and add Gonzaga. You absolutely know that you have, as Gloria Navarez, the president, the commissioner of the Mountain West, said 3 weeks ago on her show or whatever, she knows they're gone.
Yeah.
They're going to the Pac-12. Add San Diego State. Do what you can do to get Gonzaga. If you just added those two and gave yourself a better foothold in the North with a national power in college basketball, well,
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
I like Gonzaga.
And stuff, Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
I love the fact that the Big 12 is doing that. They are building a wider footprint. And think about it like a foundation under a house. This foundation just keeps spreading, and they keep putting up new walls and new rooms, and they're adding a bathroom over here. Hey, we need value. Okay, well, let's put quartz countertops in the kitchen, and we'll call that Rucker Park. Okay, well, hey, you know what, man? We need an extra car. We have a one-car garage. We need a two-car garage. All right, well, let's expand to Mexico, the Big 12 does. Okay, cool. Right? Like, you see all of this stuff that they're doing, and they just keep building the house. And if you are the Pac-12, you're not doing anything. You haven't pulled permits. You haven't gotten
permits. You're trying to get the concrete, bro.
You haven't bought the house.
Yeah, bro.
That's the problem in the Pac-12 is I feel like you're way behind the curve.
Yeah.
Where do you guys come down on this? We'd love to talk to you in the comments section. Obviously, again, thank you so much for all of your interaction on this show. Yesterday, we passed 16,000 subscribers. You know that. And a big part of that is that you guys interact with us on the show every day. Thank you for that. While you're here, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you have not, and if you are the one, and I think there's only one person who's not subscribed to this channel right now. Me? Well, there's probably millions. But anyway, my point is, I'm talking to you. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, do that, man. Give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and let's spend some time together every single day on the Monty Show. Let's see. Who's first in today? I always like to go up all the way to the top of the comments. First one in is Truck Stop Gumby. Buckle up. This is usually an adventure. First, happy 420, bro. Smoke them if you got them, dude. Happy 420. C. Kaufman, what's up? Hi, all. Can't wait for the program. Glad you're here. C. Kaufman also says hit the like button. Meat Rocket. Meat Rocket 304.
Not 303 or 305, but 304.
Is that on your birth certificate, Obama? Meat Rocket says, Pac-12 in deeper trouble. I'm shocked. I wish I could say I was shocked, right? Jaron Eccles, what's up, my guy? Wife asked me last night why there were hundreds of bucked up cans on the freezer. My only answer was, it's Jansen's fault. Great job with bucked up yesterday. I'm so in on the bucked up Pixie Pump. The new product from Bucked Up is the Pixie Pump, right? And it's a powder, and I'm all in on it today, so much so that both Jake and I do not have a can of Bucked Up energy drink on the counter.
We're doing the showroom a little differently today. We're going full Pixie Pump today.
That's not to say we're not getting bucked up,
yeah,
right?
I mean, we're getting bucked up. This is a bucked up product, so we're getting bucked up. But we're going full Pixie Pump today to see what it's like to do a showroom just on the Pixie Pump.
Now, don't forget, Bucked Up is the official energy drink of the Monty Show, don't I? Man, you inhale the Pixie Pump and it gets real. Bucked Up Energy is the official energy drink of the Monty Show. Make sure you use promo code Monty to get 20% off your purchase at buckedup.com. And you guys, again, I say it every day. The thing I love about Bucked Up, It works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Whether it's the collagen peptides or it is the organic greens that I put in my shakes in the morning, the pre-workout, whether it is the Pixie Pump that gives you that non-stim, it has no stimulant in it, but it still gives you a really good bump so you feel mentally clear. The products just work. And don't take my word for it. Go to the link in the description below. Free samples.
But I thought you said free.
I said for free. You get 3 free samples and a free shaker sent right to your front door from Bucked Up. Check them out at buckedup.com. So, yeah, there you go. I apologize, Jaron Eccles, for all of the cans that were stacked up. Nate B says, sup, gangsta, good vibes. What's up? Nate Simons says, hi, guys. Hello, Nate. Selena says, hello. What's up, Selena? Good to see you. Scan It says, let's hear it. Okay, Scan It. Okay. The Big Lubbock says, I'm formerly Tim B. What's up, Timmy B? Formerly Tim Bruckmiller. Good afternoon, fellas. Good afternoon. Let's see. Patrick Boren, what's up, my guy? Says, meanwhile, Marchand has denounced any CW PAC agreement. Well, we told you. Again, for everybody who's like, oh, man, you guys have no sources. Trust me, bro.
Truck stop conference.
So what did we tell you a month ago now?
Dude.
Or the CW and the Pac-12 talked. And the issue was that the Pac-12 wanted the entire country. George Kliavkoff and his staff told the CW, hey, we want WGN in Chicago. We want your biggest affiliates, and we want every station across the country. And we want $400 million to do that. The CW was never in a position to make that deal. They were never going to include anything to the east of the Rocky Mountains because that's outside the norm. That's outside the footprint that the Pac-12 traditionally plays in. So they were willing to give regional coverage north to south to the Pac-12. Well, that's not what George wanted. And the CW certainly was not paying $400 million for the West Coast.
Facts.
The other issue was, in that footprint, let's not forget, owned and operated stations by the CW do not exist in Washington or in Phoenix. Yes, they have affiliate stations, but they don't control the programming 100% on those stations. That was a huge sticking point, and the money was a huge sticking point. You're not, in my opinion, with the CW getting anywhere near $400 million, so that conversation was short-lived. And I don't think it was really ever of substance. We talked to people very high up at the CW who told us there was just not the right pieces in place to get that deal done. And again, frankly, I'll share with you, people at the CW that we spoke to told us the Pac-12 is unorganized. They don't have a clear, concise message. And I think that's a big deal, Jake, when we're talking about asking somebody to cut a check for $400 million for the next 5 years, every year, $400 million. That's $2 billion, man.
Yeah.
Like that is, or excuse me, $1.6 billion if you want to be precise. Like that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. And I think in concept, what is shocking is that George Kliavkoff would not understand that there's no reason for you to be on nationally when you're talking to someone who provides regionality.
That's right.
You're not talking to ESPN at that point. You're talking to someone who has RSNs all over the country. So why would you ask someone who provides regional sports networks, RSNs, why would you ask that person to put you on WGN when you're chilling in the Bay Area? Why?
I think it's a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem, and I think it's one of those things where you cannot, and what's the right word, quantify? You cannot quantify your value if you're the Pac-12 right now.
Well, and I don't think you can quantify the lack of vision that George Kliavkoff does not possess. I mean, that's the thing that's incredible to me. Like
Wait, you said the lack of vision he does not possess.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
yes.
He does possess a lack of vision.
You know why? See, I was on a roll right there. I was on a roll. I was feeling good. You know,
You better check yourself.
You were pretty bucked up right there, I felt like.
yeah, the Pixie Pump's hitting, bro.
Yep. Vorlon Angel says, I wonder how much the WNBA Ion deal is worth. We're trying to find out. Both parties, we reached out to the WNBA through their communications department. They did not want to comment on it. And we have not gotten an answer yet from Ion Scripps Sports. So
Okay. So that's how it's going to be.
There you go. We're working on it. Patrick Bourne, who's a member of the show, I did a video on a great breakdown of why the PAC needs to Cialis to consummate a media rights agreement. Man, I don't know how I have not watched the deal on Cialis in the Pac-12.
Man, that's just, wow.
Stay hard.
Like, I don't know how I haven't.
Incredible.
You know. Dale Donut's a member of the show. How bad is this getting when the WNBA gets a deal hurts the Pac-12? I don't think specifically because it's the WNBA that it hurts the Pac-12. What I think the damage to the Pac-12 is that you have more money being spent by a media company on a sports league, and it's not the Pac-12.
Yeah.
That's what hurts. Because we've heard all along, well, the money just isn't in the marketplace. Everybody spent their money. Well, apparently not, because Scripps Sports is like, hey, WNBA, let's do a deal. Right? So all of this consternation only grows when a new deal in professional sports gets done, and it's not what George in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
That's what hurts. In my opinion, anyways. That's what hurts. And so you look at all of these options we told you a month ago. NBC Universal back in touch with the Pac-12. Told you last week, ESPN and the Pac-12 had new conversations. But what are we not getting? We're not getting a deal done. And a deal was done on the national level today with a new player in sports distribution and a major sports league.
That's right, T.
And it's not the Pac-12. And that's what hurts, because you feel like even without USC and UCLA, this is a valuable league. And, you know, I go back to Utah Tech, and this is going to sound crazy, but this WAC merger, right? I had 10 people reach out to me and say, hey, you really need to look at this WAC merger because that's going to generate a new TV deal. That very well may. I don't know. But what I know is if the next college sports TV deal is not the Pac-12's, that all hell is going to break loose because you just can't have it. And the other thing that, and I don't mean to run on here, but how much streaming should be involved in the Pac-12's distribution deal? Man, I think it's got to be a significant number.
Well, I think, should is an interesting word, right? Like how much should be involved versus how much will be involved. Because should, I agree, it should be a hefty chunk of the overall distribution deal that they put together. But how much will be involved? I don't think all that much, because I don't think that the Pac-12 presidents, ADs / George Kliavkoff prioritize streaming. And look, I understand. Like again,
wait. So you and I don't want. I want you to stop right there. I don't mean to cut you off. You don't believe that the Pac-12 prioritizes on the whole streaming as part of their deal?
I don't think that they think it's an absolute game-changing opportunity to have streaming as part of your deal. I mean, we heard, again, not to keep referencing, Gloria Navarra as commissioner of the Mountain West in that interview, but she talked all about streaming, and I think she brought clarity to what a commissioner or an individual on that level thinks of streaming, which is, hey, it is important, but it's not the number one. And I think that's fascinating, because I'm telling you, sometime inside of the next 5 years, people are going to start waking up and saying, hey, streaming is the number one and linear is number two. And I'm really curious in the Pac-12 situation, the question always seems to get asked, hey, how do they dig out of this? How do they, what's the game-changing thing that they can do? Like yesterday's show, hey, there's one thing that the Pac-12 can do to save themselves, and that is to go all in on streaming or flip the table, meaning, hey, go out into the world, create your own content, and push your content out yourself, and then you can have people advertise on your platform. And I think they don't want to do that. We know for sure they don't want to do that. Well, that's true. And they're not interested in that. And that, to me, is super limiting.
But you better be. And I think George Kliavkoff, again, has talked about this.
Yeah.
He has said streaming is going to be a significant part of the future. And he's got a deal now in the Big 12 that includes streaming with ESPN, who I think is the best example of how streaming has evolved. ESPN was not interested in streaming in the early days in any way, shape, or form. Even 5 years ago, ESPN was not interested in streaming. But what happened now? They have flipped the switch, and ESPN Plus is now a significant revenue stream for Disney, the owners of ESPN. ESPN Plus, you look at, WAC Sports on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
massive viewership for UFC. I mean, you name it, it's on
Masters.
there. The Masters, UFC, college sports. You're gonna get and I think it will happen when ESPN and the Pac-12 do this next deal. If you can get a grant of rights signed in the Pac-10, which I think is a big deal, with the 10 remaining teams, I think it's going to be very difficult. If you come in at what we think is going to be a $20 to $22 million deal, I think you are going to see that ESPN Plus is going to be a significant part, and they're going to get the second best game of the week. That's going to be on ESPN Plus. I think the number one game will be a night game on a Saturday evening on ESPN or ABC. I think the number two game is going to be on ESPN Plus. And my guess is, and this is strictly a guess, but from what I've heard, my guess is Amazon's going to do a Friday night Pac-12 football game. That would be my guess. I think that's a $22 million a year deal. $22 million per school per year in the Pac-12. And I think it's Amazon. I think it's ESPN. And I think it's 3 games a week on television. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, on broadcast. I think you get 1 game on TV. I think you get 1 game on ESPN Plus, and I think you get 1 game on Amazon. 3 out of your 5 games are broadcast. That's it. 1 of them is on linear TV. And if you're in the Pac-12, that's terrifying, man. That's absolutely terrifying, and I don't know what your answer is for that. If you are George Kliavkoff, and that is the commissioner of the Pac-12, and that's your best deal, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Jake, whip it out. Nate Simons, a new member of the show.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go. Off to a hot start
Nate,
today.
welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys. If you want to join the membership on the channel, please do. It is anywhere between $1.99. That gets you shout-outs on the show. You see everybody that's got the symbol next to their name. That gets you shout-outs on the show. $9.99, $10 a month gets you into our Instagram-only members group. You pay $9.99 a month. You DM Jake. He puts you into the group. You would have known early this morning about the Ion WNBA deal.
Yes.
Because I put it in the group this morning. You guys, you would have known about it long before I tweeted it out at 11 Mountain Time this morning. Hey, you'd have had it first. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
$9.99 a month. I know it. I know everybody's pockets are tight. Whatever you decide to do on joining the membership, thanks for being here. Because without you guys, we wouldn't have a show like this. So thank you so much. Avery Cope. What's up, Avery? Says, Monty, check your Twitter DMs from a few hours ago. Will do. And I apologize. I know a lot of people DM me. I get a ton of DMs.
That's every day.
I try to get back to as many of them as I can. And I admittedly, I do miss some. So I am working on that, and I appreciate you guys. Jake Nelson says, go Beavs. Saul Goodman. Just a question. Do Monty and Jake go to the restroom on air? We do not.
No.
We do not. And at times, anytime we talk about floating or swimming, time to go to the bathroom, man. Anytime there's anytime you see Jake looking like this for about 3 minutes, that generally means I'm on a mission to rid my body of certain fluids.
And we've contemplated, the bathroom break routine like they do on other shows, and we try not to do it. It just, yeah.
It is what it is. Hey, how about Aaron Wilson gifting a membership today?
Here we go.
Let's get this. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you, Aaron Wilson. Welcome, Jackson Graham, to the membership.
Let's go, baby.
Go. Jackson, good to see you. Back on the right side of the law, Jackson. Thanks for being here. Eddie Staus says Pac-10 should strike a deal with BYU TV for streaming. Easy now. Easy now. That's gonna hurt people's feelings. Let's see who else is on. Michael Peck. Hello, Michael Peck. Still a lot of value in the PAC from a TV revenue standpoint. I think there is. The question is, this is going to be crazy in today's economic climate in this country. If I said to you, hey, how about we give you $220 million a year? Can you handle that? You'd be like, hell yeah. But if you're 10 schools that were promised $40 to $50 million a year, and I said to you, hey, how about we give you $22 million a year? That's not going to cut the mustard. And especially when you know that the Big 12 is probably taking home $50 million a year at the end of the day. It's an awfully difficult pill to swallow.
Yes, it
when
is.
there's a real chance that if you sign a grant of rights for, and most people think it'll be 3 years, but let's go with that, 3 years. If you're Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, Washington, Oregon, Arizona State, Utah, you sign that grant of rights, and you make $27 to $30 million a year total. Because you've had a very difficult run in college basketball. Both Arizona and UCLA have failed to go deep in the tournament. And then you look down the 405 freeway, you look down PCH, you see San Diego down there, and Wales Vagina is going to the final, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in extra income every single year for the next 6 years through tournament shares. Now, all of a sudden, a Mountain West school is bucking to make similar money to you. Man, that's a tough way to live your life, dude.
Yes, it is.
That is a very tough way to live your life. And I'm just telling you that this has the potential to get very ugly. Mm-hmm. It has the potential to get very ugly. And you know what? It's why I tell you, when you need to chill and you just want to find some zen, you go to bbqpitstop.com, barbecue pit stop, bbqpitstop.com. And Logan, Leighton Lehigh, hello, Payson. How about a brand new barbecue pit stop in Payson? Go check them out. Also in St. George, in Murray on State Street, right across from the mall. Our good friends at Barbecue Pit Stop. You go there for the equipment, right? When you hear the words barbecue pit stop, best equipment in barbecue, you know it's Traeger, Yoder, Big Green Egg, Camp Chef. You know that. But what you're getting is the expertise of awesome human beings that'll service you coast to coast no matter where you are. bbqpitstop.com. Hey, I have a kickoff barbecue. How long do I leave the brisket on? What does low and slow mean? Hey, what's the best seasoning for scrambled eggs? Monty says it's Flavor Knuckles Asado seasoning.
Come on, man.
Is that right? They'll set you straight, and they're going to tell you it's Flavor Knuckles Asado seasoning. Now, I mean, whether I can only lead you to the seasoning. I can't
make you listen to me.
Yeah, I can't make you sprinkle it on the eggs, friends.
I'm going to say this again.
Because that stuff right there, this stuff right here, Flavor Knuckles Asado seasoning.
Yeah, right here in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, it's the goodness, dudes. It is the goodness. bbqpitstop.com. Shop online. Chat with a barbecue expert right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show as we talk about the Pac-12 coming up in just about 25 minutes. We'll get you all the biggest stories in the NBA. Football at 50 in 14 minutes. We got to talk about this Trey Lance story with the San Francisco 49ers. But right now, we are talking about as the Pac-12 turns, because we're in a situation now where, A, you're about to hit the like button on the Monty Show because, well, it's just that good.
Duh.
And this deal with Ion TV and the WNBA really, I think it hurts. I do think it hurts. Absolutely. Saul Goodman says, is it Friday? I see a lot of gifting. It's not Friday, but every day is a gifting day.
Every day, baby.
Because Nate Simons gave 5 memberships away today.
Let me get it out here. Hang on.
Let's
go.
We appreciate everybody who gifts a membership. Thank
Let's go,
you.
baby.
Thank you so much for that. We get a $4.99 tip today from Maury Alvarez. The longer and longer this goes, the less and less the PAC members are going to ratify a new deal. Maury, my guy, he's our great Floridian, Maury Alvarez. I think that's exactly right. Because every day that we don't get a deal done, I think is another day that Arizona is talking to the Big 12.
Yeah.
And worse than that, every day we don't get a deal in the Pac-12 done, you know what happens? Arizona talks to Oregon State, and they're like, yeah, this sucks. Oh, you're right, it sucks. Oh,
That's
man.
right, T.
No, you know what, Arizona? It sucks more. No, Oregon State, it sucks way more.
No.
It's just this cycle. You know how negativity is in the office,
Yeah,
right?
misery loves company, bro.
It snowballs rolling down the hill. And pretty soon, George Klyavkov's like, what's that smell? That's the diesel exhaust from the moving trucks that are backing up as everybody packs their stuff and moves to the Big 12.
The truck stop conference.
I love that everybody's like, well, regionally, I don't see that they have any more room for stadiums in Lubbock. Oh. Stop it. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think it's people like Gonzaga. Because Gonzaga's got their eyes set on the other side of the WCC fence for more money. And we've told you exclusively on the show that Gonzaga has a verbal invite. And it is simply they just need to nod their heads and say yes, and paperwork will start. And
Gonzaga.
those are the things that are happening.
Yeah.
Every single day. It becomes a little easier for that president to, hey, George, President Robbins down here in Tucson, Arizona. Just checking in, man. I missed your voice. How are things? By the way, do you still have a place for us? Like, that's what it feels like, right?
Yes.
And then, I only envision that Yormark, he answers his phone, and he's like, who's calling me from Jackson, Mississippi? What? Hello? Hey, Brett, it's Coach Prime.
Who the fuck are you?
Right? Like, hey, man, just checking in with you. Bless up. Peace out. Hey, by the way, before I go, I just want to remind you, Colorado football, we're on the coach. We sold every single ticket for the entire season. Season tickets and regular tickets. They're all sold out for the entire season, Brett. Don't forget about us. Bless up. All right, peace out.
I'm coming.
Yes! Hey, Brett, it's Prime. I'm coming.
And it's Louie.
I'm coming. That's what's happening.
Yes, dude.
How could that not be happening?
Prime probably called Brett on his iPhone 27 that he got 5 years in advance from all the ticket money, dude.
Cash Money gives us a $2 tip to say Utes to the Sun Belt.
You're casual.
Okay, so wait. We started with Utes will rot away in the Pac-12. That wasn't good enough. So listen. The Utes are going to the Mountain West.
Guys.
They're going back to the Mountain West.
Guys.
And they're gonna go make funeral potatoes up there in Boise.
Hey, guys.
And then Boise's gonna come down here and beat that Utah ass in basketball. And then Utah will really be dead. So Boise will make some funeral potatoes.
Bro, what are you talking about,
Kind of how the world
man?
works. Now it's, hey, guys. An inside tip. I was talking to Swoop last night. And he was telling me that we're going to the Sun Belt.
Because it's all part of the plan.
But only because the MEAC said for us to screw off. Right? We're really we've already fallen down to the Sun Belt. To the Sun Belt Conference. Come on. Bob Holsey says every day the PAC doesn't get a deal done, an angel loses their wings.
Damn, bro.
Come on now.
Dude, it's only 3:40. We don't need to be knocking on God's door already.
Come on, Lonnie. Good afternoon, Lonnie. What about the A's to Las Vegas? Absolutely on the agenda for the showroom today.
But I also think you can, not to take things too far, but I think it's really interesting. Really interesting. It's been 20 years they've been working on either building a new stadium or renovating their current site. This has been an ongoing thing. And I think what's really interesting, yesterday in the showroom, talked about UNLV, talked about Vegas as a market, talked about the fact that they're adding teams. MLB, they added the NHL already. You've got all this stuff happening. And UNLV, unfortunately, because I'm sure they're a wonderful program, just don't quite have the pull that I feel like the Pac-12 requires in a sense. And I think
that's what I'm saying.
What's really interesting is that the Pac-12 seemingly values the Dallas Metro more than Las Vegas. They value the Central Time Zone more than getting someone in Las Vegas. And that's what's crazy to me. And then today, yes, we get the Oakland A's news. Yes, we get the WNBA news. Dude, it just stacks. And that's what I think is working against George Kliavkoff in the Pac-12.
Well, and you don't have positive momentum. And not to be redundant, because I feel like every day on this show, there's good news about the Big 12. Okay, the Big 12 in Kansas City. Shaq's coming to be a DJ for the Big 12 basketball tournament. Hey, by the way, the Big 12 basketball tournament was a rousing success. Did I mention we signed a deal to do clinics and camps at Rucker Park in New York? Oh, hey, by the way, Stillwater, Oklahoma is nice, but we want the country in Mexico too. So we're going to do an alliance with Mexico. But it's every day, every week.
Mm-hmm.
So this momentum is just rolling in the Big 12. And as I said earlier, in the Pac-12, it's rolling the opposite way. The negativity is rolling up. Jackson Graham got a kick out of the Sun Belt comment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Meat Rocket. Logic says Ohio State has lost to Michigan 2 straight years.
Okay.
Okay.
Good talk.
That's cool. Mr. Tinfoil Man says cash money Utes to the Sun Belt. Yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
Tinfoil Man
Yes.
has turned it around to now be calling for drops on the show.
Yes.
Cougar Tracks. Cougar Tracks 2, 4, 6, 8 all adds up to be great. Big 12. I'm not a math guy. Tanner Plummer, dang. What would happen if Jake if Prime called him? Jake would be like, "I'm coming."
Oh my God, just like that.
But that's not.
See, okay, Tanner, here's the deal though, bro. Notice how he says in his comment, "I'm coming," like there's a G on the end. There's no G on the end, man.
Jake?
It's "I'm coming."
Jake.
Stay hard.
Yeah, I'm coming.
For those of you new to the show, this dude right here, the biggest Coach Prime fan.
Yeah.
Like I walked in here the other day, all the lights were off, right? Walked into the studio. I'm like, great day to be alive. Yeah. A humming a tune. And I just hear Deion Sanders on repeat in the office over here. I'm coming. And Jake's like, oh. Too much. Okay, let's reset.
This is a family program. No fun shall be had.
I don't know why I'm putting DeLambo on the show. Utah to end their sports programs to focus on academics.
Yeah, geometry 718.
Do you guys see the hate and the vitriol and I think Utah fan has earned this a little bit. Like you don't see on this show, even USC fan taking this much heat. You don't see Oregon fan or Washington fan or Arizona. Well, Arizona doesn't have fans, but Arizona State fans.
No.
You don't see them taking the pounding that flipping Utah fan is getting, right? Like, and they are getting it.
Hugh Janus.
Yes, they are. Yes, yes,
Dude.
yes.
Yeah.
Kay Nurin, what's up, Kay? Good to see you. Yes, the BYU football is on ESPN. BYU TV needs some games. PAC games would work. You got stop it. Stop it. Jeff Johnson says, "Bless up." How about Aaron Judge robbing your guy Otani? Bless up too, right? Right. Stop it. Stop it. That was cold. That was cold-blooded. Michael Peck, how the heck are you? It seems like that since there hasn't been a deal announced. The consensus is no news is bad news. Is that incorrect?
Any good news for a TV network that does not involve the Pac-12 is bad news for the Pac-12 because every day that goes by, you're losing leverage or any leverage that you did have.
Yeah, and I just think every day we talk about it, we call it. It even has a name on this show as the Pac-12 turns, right? Like, I mean, that's where we are with the Pac-12 TV deal. That's where we are, and I again say, as you guys hit the like button on YouTube, you look at the significant interest in this deal, and you look at the way that people are searching for answers. Do you realize that Pac-12 TV deal and Big 12 expansion are two of the biggest search terms on YouTube in sports right now?
Yeah.
That's how many people care about this conversation. This is not a small deal. There quite literally are people that are on the edge of their seat like, dude, when are we getting a deal? When are we getting a deal? I'm running out. Like, people are out of patience on this. And so we talk about this big momentum of negativity for the Pac-12. We talk about all this momentum and defensiveness out of fans of Pac-12 schools right now. And it's well-deserved. It's well-earned because you have nothing to hang on to. And we can sit here and we could talk about, all of the debunking of rumors. And I, again, will just say, and I think I tweeted this morning, if you go look at my tweet, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show, you go look at the tweet that I put out this morning where I said, hey, significant TV news is coming up, and Pac-12 fans are going to be unhappy about it. Utah fan, liar, not true, liar, you're a jerk, not true. And then what happens? Well, it turns out it is true. And you look at the panic that set in the Pac-12 fan base when the words ION TV, WNBA, people are like, great, they want the WNBA more than the Pac-12. I'm telling you that's not the case.